One of the most bizarre games I've ever played seems to be getting a remastered edition coming to the Nintendo Switch, and I'm pretty happy about this. Rumors of an Xbox Series X price leak have been hitting the internet, but I'm here to dispel those rumors. And finally, Metroid Prime 4 gets an update, and once again, rumors are flying around about this news that are just a bit far-fetched with this situation. When did I become the voice of reason in all of this? What's going on, guys? I'm RGT85. It's currently 4 in the morning because I can't sleep, so I figured, hey, why don't I film a video? If this is your first time on the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button. But without any further ado, let's talk about what's going on in the world of video games. So the video game industry has definitely been hit with real-world situations in 2020, and because of this, a lot of video game-related announcements don't seem to be coming out in a timely manner. Now, that doesn't mean that these video games aren't necessarily in development or anything like that. Companies just aren't really ready to talk about them yet. Now, of course, there have been ways to get information about games coming out to the Nintendo Switch, even though there hasn't been a Nintendo Direct or anything like that. Things like the Taiwanese rating board seem to be leaking things pretty much every week. Of course, there's Amazon listings that pop up from time to time, and of course there's one other source of information, LinkedIn. Now, I'm not an expert in LinkedIn or anything like that, but there is one individual who is, and that is of course DocTrey81. Now, if you know anything about Doc Trey, he seems to just find all this interesting stuff on LinkedIn that ends up becoming true when it comes to game announcements, and once again, the good doctor has sniffed out something. What'd it do, bruh? Talk of the town. So basically, Doc Trey found that a LinkedIn page for an employee of Engine Software says that the game Killer 7 will be coming to the Nintendo Switch. Now, if you're unfamiliar with what Killer 7 is, it's really one of the strangest games I've ever played. I have the GameCube version of this game, and I really don't even know quite how you explain it, but it's a very enjoyable game. Now, this is a Suda51 game. Of course, everyone knows Suda51 from the No More Heroes series, but Killer 7 was one of the earlier games that he did, and really it is sort of a cult classic in the video game industry. Now, Engine Software previously worked with Suda51 to bring Killer 7 to Steam, so it does make sense that if there is a port happening, which according to this LinkedIn listing, it does seem like it pretty much just flat out says that it's happening, so it makes sense for them to be working on this version of the game. Now, the profile for the employee in this LinkedIn listing specifically says that he is the executive producer of Killer 7 Remaster for the Nintendo Switch and the PC, so it does seem like this information is 100% legitimate. Now, I think this sort of makes sense. Of course, we have heard that No More Heroes was recently rated by the Taiwanese rating board as coming to the Nintendo Switch, so maybe there's going to be some sort of Suda51 celebration on the Nintendo Switch. Obviously, if No More Heroes 1 is coming to the Nintendo Switch, No More Heroes 3 is in development, and Killer 7 Remastered seems to be coming to the Nintendo Switch as well. Maybe 2021 will be a little rebirth of the Suda51 name on the Nintendo Switch. Let's be real, Killer 7 isn't going to have the massive appeal of something like Animal Crossing or anything like that. It is definitely a cult classic in the video game industry, but if you're able to understand what's happening in the game, which can be a bit difficult, I think it's a very enjoyable experience. I'm not even quite sure how to describe it many years after originally playing it, but I definitely want to see this game come to the Nintendo Switch, especially a remastered edition that maybe tightens up things like the controls and, well, explains the game a little bit better. It seems like the Steam version of Killer 7 Remastered was very well received as well, so I'm definitely on board with this, and hopefully we do get some sort of announcement soon about this game, because I think this will make a lot of Nintendo Switch fans very, very happy, especially the hardcore gamer types. Update. Since I filmed this, Nintendo Life reached out to the Engine Software employee, and the employee said that this listing was incorrect as the game only released on Steam. Now, at face value, that's understandable. However, Killer 7 came out on Steam in November of 2018, nearly 2 years ago. So they haven't updated their LinkedIn page in nearly 2 years? Is everything at face value with this situation, or is this a bit of an unsolved mystery for the Nintendo Switch? I'll let you decide. Next up, the next generation of consoles are coming very soon, as in this holiday. Whether or not the world is ready for them, I guess that will remain to be seen, but obviously there's been a lot of things happening recently with Microsoft and the Xbox Series X. Of course, Halo Infinite was supposed to be the flagship title for the game, and now that game has been delayed into 2021, more than likely the middle or later half of 2021, so many are wondering what's going to be the big appeal of the Xbox Series X. Of course, we don't know things about the Xbox Series X or the PlayStation PlayStation 5, such as a concrete release date or even a price point, which is definitely a main thing that a lot of people are looking forward to. Now, rumors have been circulating about the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5 prices, but recently a Monster Energy giveaway has a lot of people thinking that they have finally figured out how much the Xbox Series X is going to cost, but it's really not quite what it seems, and it's kind of baffling to me that people can't do basic math, because let's be real, I'm kind of an idiot, but I can at least do basic math to deduce that this more than likely is just a rumor. This is an estimate of things, and basically it doesn't mean anything about the Xbox Series X's price. So this Monster Energy ad basically is this Monster Energy thing is basically doing a giveaway, and of course before Halo Infinite was delayed, Halo Infinite was actually a part of this giveaway along with an Xbox Series X. They were doing 200 first place prizes, in which the first place prize would receive an Xbox Series X and a copy of Halo Infinite. Now in the fine print of this, it said that the total average of the first place prizes is about $120,000. So once people got their minds around that, they were like, well, let's do some basic math here. So doing some basic math, people saw that number 200 and of course divided 120,000 by 200 and quickly got the price point of $600. So everyone was making videos, oh, the Xbox Series X is going to be $600, Monster Energy confirmed this, and it's like, did you not read the whole ad? Because in the ad, it clearly states that this would be involving a copy of Halo Infinite as well. Now, last time I checked, Halo Infinite was supposed to be a $60 game. I'm sure that it would be the single player component of Halo Infinite, which we know is the pay for component, as Halo Infinite's multiplayer is going to be free to play. So just going by that, saying that the system is going to be $600 based on that and not factoring the $60 that Halo Infinite was going to cost is just ridiculous, because if you do basic math, that would mean that the Xbox Series X would be about $540 when you consider the fact that Halo Infinite is a $60 game. So more than likely, if anything, you should be saying that the Xbox Series X is going to be a $500 system and not a $600 system. Once again, that is just an average that Monster Energy is doing as well, pretty much to just cover their ass in terms of any litigation or anything like that. If someone had said, oh, well, your prize point wasn't, it wasn't worth enough, didn't meet this value, didn't meet this quota that you said. It is an average, it is an estimate. Monster Energy probably doesn't know the price of the Xbox Series X, because at this point in time, I don't even know if Microsoft knows how much they're going to charge for the system. I don't know if Sony knows how much they're going to charge for their PlayStation 5. So basically, the too long didn't read edition is that people can't do basic math. And if you do basic math, you would see that the Xbox Series X, if this equation was 100% correct, and Monster Energy did know exactly what they were talking about, that the Xbox Series X would not be a $600 system, it would be a $500 system. So really, it is a non-story, but I know a lot of people are talking about it, so I just wanted to clarify that for you guys. And finally, one of the games for the Nintendo Switch that was announced and then quickly forgotten about by Nintendo at least, and not by fans, was of course Metroid Prime 4. We saw this game at E3 2017, and ever since then, well, it's just been very quiet. Many people have been deducing that the game was originally being done by Bandai Namco. Nintendo didn't necessarily like what was going on, and then transferred the game over to Retro Studios, who probably should have been doing the game in the first place, considering, I mean, what else have they been doing during this whole time frame? But I digress. It is fine that now that Retro Studios is handling this game, because they of course did Metroid Prime 1 through 3. But of course this means that Metroid Prime probably saw a bit of a delay in the development cycle. If they had to start from scratch from the Bandai Namco build of the game, Metroid Prime 4 probably is a ways off, and that's something we've been talking about on this channel. Some people seem to be under the mindset that it could be an early 2021 game, but I think that's just absolutely ridiculous. Now, an interesting tweet went up on Retro Studios' Twitter account that now has people saying all sorts of crazy stuff, and once again, I have to be the voice of reason in this situation, because it's not as cut and dry as people are making it out to be. So this tweet went up saying that we are looking for a lead producer to join us on our journey to develop Metroid Prime 4, hashtag game jobs, hashtag game dev, hashtag game dev jobs. And it links to a career page over at nintendo.com/retro studios. Now this job posting was originally posted on May 11th, but it was just mentioned on Retro Studios social media accounts now. And beyond this, there were other positions that were listed in the months of June and July of 2020 for Metroid Prime 4 as well. Now, because of this tweet, a lot of people are interpreting this information sort of in the wrong way, and I'm here to sort of tell you guys what this actually means, at least in my eyes. I'm not saying this is 100% correct, but more than likely this is the accurate answer with Metroid Prime 4. First and foremost, like I said, Metroid Prime 4 is not coming anytime soon, and it's very common for companies to add in producers as the game development goes along. Of course, they're not looking for the main producer of the game. The main producer is already Mr. Tanabe. We learned back in January of 2019 that Mr. Tanabe was working on Metroid Prime 4 with Retro Studios once again. So this isn't for the main producer of the game, it's for a lead producer of the game, meaning someone to come along and assist in this game. Obviously, they are ramping up development of this game, and they're trying to get this game going along in a timely manner. But once again, this doesn't mean that there's any sort of doom and gloom for Metroid Prime 4 or any sort of disaster going on behind the scenes. They're just simply adding in more people to the project. I mean, look at The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Monolith Studios came in and helped with that version of the game. So was that game in peril or anything like that? No, they're just adding in more producers. Once again, a lot of people are running with this in a negative limelight, sort of clickbaiting it up, and I totally understand it. You know, that's the name of the game, but we like to keep it real on this channel, so I'm just keeping it real with you guys. Metroid Prime 4 is probably being developed at a steady pace. I don't expect to see it in 2021. It makes more sense for it to show up in 2022, and that's something we kind of hinted at in our Legend of Zelda video talking about the Legend of Zelda franchise in 2021. So I honestly don't think this has any sort of negative implications for Metroid Prime 4. I simply think they are bolstering the staff over at Retro Studios to make this game as big and as great as possible for the Nintendo Switch. So fret not, Metroid fans, fret not. Alright, so that is going to do it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Be sure to let me know in the comments section down below what you think of everything. Are you excited for the potential of Killer 7 Remastered coming to the Nintendo Switch? What do you think about this whole Xbox Series X price point thing? Is it time for Microsoft and Sony to just stop nilly-willying around and just announce the prices of these systems so we can stop talking about these stupid things as far as prices are concerned? And finally, Metroid Prime 4. Do you see it being a 2021 game? Do you see it being a 2022 game? Is it ever going to come out for the Nintendo Switch? Who knows at this point? Nah, I'm just kidding. It'll come out on the Switch. And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. If you're new to the channel, like I said, make sure you subscribe and check out other videos on the channel. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Later.